Welcome to the Pivot, Mr. Jonathan Sprinkles the author of 14 books, a TV personality, a celebrity business coach, an award-winning keynote speaker, and the founder of the Connection Lab. What's good, y'all? You are watching The Pivot with Stephanie Humphrey. Thanks so much for being here. This is a show where we talk about how to make that transition. A lot of people out there, especially now, post-pandemic, are we still in a pandemic? I don't know, but a lot of people have been thinking about what their next step in life might be, whether you are changing careers, whether you're heading back to school, whether you're thinking about getting out of that relationship, out of that situationship, whatever it might be. There are definitely some things to that process that we can all talk about to help us learn and grow and make that journey a little bit easier for all of us. So I'm happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're watching. I'm happy that I'm able to provide this type of content for you. And I am happy to welcome our guest today, Mr. Jonathan Sprinkles, who is, let me get it right, the author of 14 books, a TV personality, a celebrity business coach, an award-winning keynote speaker, and the founder of the Connection Lab. Jonathan, thank you so much for being here on The Pivot today.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm really excited about this conversation today.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, we are talking about assessment. You know, social media will have you thinking that everybody can be an entrepreneur. Everybody can start their own business. Everybody can have a side hustle. Everybody can do all the things because social media makes you believe that. But at some point, you really got to be honest with yourself and like, can I really do this? Is this really something? So I got a story. I start each of these episodes with a story. Way back when I had just started working at QVC as a model, and one of the floor producers came to me and he's like, hey, Steph, can you play basketball? And he wasn't just asking because I was Black. We had actually worked on another project where I was sort of this fitness related person on this project. So he's like, can you play basketball? I was like, of course. I got that left-handed jumper. I'll be shaking people on the court, talking all this smack. I got the smack talking part of basketball down 100%. So I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, some producing partners of mine and I are doing this feature film. Take a look at the script. He literally handed me the entire script, like hard copy right then. He's like, take a look at the script. Let me know what you think. If you're interested, because it's a basketball themed movie, but we've been having some trouble getting actors that can play basketball because there was some NCAA thing where you couldn't use those players, much or whatever the case may be. They were having some trouble getting actors that could play ball. So he's like, take a look. Let me know. And honestly, I was like, I have a whole story, a different story that we won't tell today about why I am not an actor. But I got shook. I was just like, this is going to I can do the basketball scenes, but the acting scenes, this is going to require something of me that I don't really think I'm prepared to do. At the time, I hadn't acted in anything, especially not anything major. I might have done, a local commercial here or there, but I hadn't had an actual lead role in anything. And I'm just like, I don't think I can do this. And that's what I told him. I said, you know what? It looks like a great film. I would love to be able to help you out, but I just don't have the experience right now to do any of these roles any justice. I don't feel like I do. And if I don't feel like I do, then I don't. And the movie turned out to be The Mighty Max, which was a feature film starring Carla Gugino and some other people like super famous. And they had the premiere in Philadelphia. I went to that, black tie at the Kimmel Center. And I was like, I'm going to been on that poster with the rest of them clowns. And I was just like, dang it. But I wasn't ready. And I had to be honest with myself about the fact that I wasn't ready. So we're going to talk today about, among other things, about how we can tell if we're ready. So let's start there. How can people just do that work and be honest with themselves and really take that stock in what they have to know that they can do this thing?
Well, first, that's an amazing story. And ironically, you said no. And the only difference between you and most movie stars is that you said no versus them saying yes. Mm-hmm. Because there's always a point where we have to learn. There's an expression. I coach a lot. I coach my son's teams and I do a lot of business coaching. So I'm oftentimes pushing people to the edge because I believe that all significant growth happens outside of our comfort zone. So as I'm pushing people, I remind them that every master had a first day in the gym. So there was a time when you can break all the boards, right? But then there was also a time when they were just showing you how to just hold your fist right and do the right left punch, right?
Right.
So everybody had a first day. Everybody has a first play or a first code that they write or a first computer that they build. And it's usually pretty darn embarrassing when you look back at it. So just know that that's part of the process. I completely understand you saying, I just can't do the role honor. However, there have been so many stories of people who were, quote, punching above their weight, people who said, look, I'm going to take the order, I'm going to get the business, and then I'll go and figure out how to do it. That's not always the best way to do it if you know that you will not have time to go back and learn the skills necessary. Right. It makes for a great Instagram story if you say, oh, I took the big contract and I didn't even know anything about the industry. Well, that's also sometimes a lack of integrity because you promised that you could do something and now you have people expecting you and they're telling their boss that they're going to get something. Okay. But if you know that this is something that's close to what you've been doing and it's aligned with what you've been doing, that you have the ability to do it, you just need you just either need contacts or context, and it makes sense for you to take that jump. I'll give you a great example. So I also had a story as well. When I was working at Dell Computers, I got started as a computer salesman just out of college. Okay. And I was selling computers that I knew nothing about. I knew nothing about technology or anything, but we were doing training every single day, different levels of training so that we can improve our skill set very quickly. So I moved within 9 months from not knowing anything about computers and technology to being one of the top sales reps in one of the top divisions in the entire company because I created more confidence through increasing my competence. And so it felt less like imposter syndrome and more like me just having a big dream and then walking and working to fulfill that dream.
Don't wait till November 8th. We can vote today. Your early vote started this week.
We're on Savannah State University's campus. We will be dorm storming today, giving out treats for everyone. We hope to see everyone at the polls when it comes to November.
If you believe we got power, let them know. Make some noise. Put a fist up. I need to see a fist in the air because we got power. Come on, you put it up. Come get your shirt. We're out here in the streets of Savannah, Georgia. James, do not forget to go vote. I got you. If we vote the right people in, we can make a change. We can get these resources in our community.
I am a woman, and it is important that we have the say-so of what we want to do with our bodies.
We're concentrating on entrepreneurism, providing young people with resources and training that they need in order to change their trajectories. We want Black down. Democracy is on the ballot. Voting rights is on the ballot. Voting suppression is on the ballot. I am most passionate about those three combined because they all impact each other.
Savannah is my home. I care about my community, and I care about representation in my community.
Our voices are still going to be heard no matter what kind of obstacles try to come up against us to stop us from voting. We're still going to be standing our ground.
I see the effort that's being made to keep our communities from voting. So that makes me realize it's even more important, because if it wasn't important, they wouldn't be fighting to make sure we could vote.
This doesn't stop this year. This is a forever movement.
We're going to exert our power as a people, walk in our rightful place. We're going to change our communities, fight for our communities, and build our communities.
So are you a proponent then of the idea of faking it till you make it?
I don't like faking it ever. I don't think anything is good when it's fake. I don't think faking it is good ever. But I'll just say that. However, I do believe that you should dream bigger until you see yourself actually walking it out. Walt Disney one time, on his deathbed, there was a reporter who walked in and they were asking him a question saying, Mr. Disney, it's a shame that you won't ever be able to see Epcot being in its full fruition. And he said, young man, had I not first seen it in my mind, you would never see it with your eyes.
Wow.
And so there's something to be said about that. So I don't believe that you really have to fake it. But what you do have to do is understand where you are in relation to where you want to be. And then this is the part that nobody wants to talk about. This, that dirty, nasty, ugly part. You got to put in that work.
Work.
Right? This is how you said earlier, Stephanie, something I thought was really powerful. You said Instagram and social media will tell you about you can have all that. I believe that's true. You can have all that. Somebody did. But are you willing to go without anything until you get it? Because most entrepreneurs are, if you say you want entrepreneurship for the money, if you want this idea for the money, that's the worst reason to ever do it.
The absolute worst.
You will be the poorest that you've ever been. And oftentimes, not only not having any revenue, but also having debt to overcome when you have a business of your own. It's not about how great you can be. Entrepreneurship is how bad you can be, but still be willing to get back up and try it again.
To keep going. Yeah. I tell people all the time, I'm like, this life ain't for everybody. Everybody ain't built for this life. And you really have to lock in, laser focused on the why. Mm-hmm. Why are you doing this? Money is not going to sustain you as a reason. I mean, there may be some people out there that are literally just so consumed with the idea of becoming rich that it can get them there. It can fuel them, but that's rare. That is really rare. And you need to be very clear on why you want to do this, because you're going to need something else other than the money to keep you in this space and in this game long enough to even be successful. And people don't understand. And like you said, it is about the work. And people always ask me, how did you? I was like, I just hung in there. I ain't got no secrets. You know what I mean? I wish I did. I would sell you something if I had something to sell you, but I don't have nothing to sell you. All I got is the work. I worked really, really hard until something happened. And I stayed the course. I worked really hard and I hung in there. Like there really isn't any other strategy or secret or method or anything that I can tell somebody on how to do it. And I appreciate you saying that, because I don't think that message gets heard enough, and I don't think we can say it enough. So
yeah, so
that work, y'all.
Yeah, and in 2020, I started taking up running, not out of physical fitness, but really out of mental fitness, because things were just so tough. I just needed to get out of the house. My son was across the hall doing school, and so it was just tough on both of us. And we said, look, let's just go outside. Let's go for a run. And 1 mile turned into 2, 2 turned into 3, so on and so forth. Within a few months, we ran our first half marathon together. What I learned through that was that anybody can do it. It really is true. Anybody can do it, but everyone has the ability to do it. but not everyone has the patience, right?
That's it.
Anybody can be great at business, but not everybody has the patience. Not everybody is willing to wait for it. So how do you know if you're willing to wait? So you have to ask yourself these questions. Even if I got nothing from this, do I still feel like I am willing to get back up? How long am I willing to go with no results in this area and still approach it with the same level of enthusiasm as I did the first day? You ask yourself these really tough questions. That's how you know when something is for you and something isn't. The reason why you said no wasn't because you didn't have the talent. It's likely because you didn't have the passion for it, right?
I didn't. You hit the nail on there. I hadn't really thought about why I said no. I just kind of assumed that you need a certain level of skill to be an actor. I didn't feel like I had that. And I didn't necessarily care to go and get it for various reasons. So you're right. The passion for it just wasn't there.
Yeah. So let's use your life as a case study. So you were an engineer, right? So you have a brilliant mind. You're probably tinkering with things your whole life, got in trouble for breaking stuff and all of that stuff, right? Right. But were you born knowing engineering? No.
Not the nuts and bolts of it. I do say I was born an engineer though, but just because that hunger to understand how things work, that wanting to know why and how, and that I believe that was innate, and I was born with that.
Sure. So you were born an engineer by desire, but you weren't engineer by competence, right? You just didn't learn. You didn't know the stuff. You couldn't.
I didn't come out knowing calculus.
Right. And I was going to say some other stuff I didn't know how to do, like differential equations and all those other things. So all of those things. So now you're on television. You, for some people, are a household name. People look forward to seeing Tech Life Steph in certain places. Did you know how to do that your whole life?
I don't know. I feel like it was always there, maybe latent. But to your point about the passion, it wasn't even necessarily about being quote unquote ready for TV. It was about this idea that I could use a platform to help people understand technology. That's literally my only motivation for everything you've ever seen me do in the media space has been from that singular. I want to help people understand technology, and I'm able to do that. So then we'll figure out what all these other platforms and medias and cheap TV shows, and we can figure that part out.
Yeah. So believe it or not, you don't have to worry about the fact that you're not saying yes to all my questions. It's okay. It's all right. So because you're actually proving the point. So the point is that the skills all came later.
Right.
But the seed was planted in you in what feels like from birth, right? That seed has always been there. I always had a mind for this. I always wanted to help people. That's how you know the thing is there for you. So part of my work is helping people to connect the dots, to figure out the difference or to build the bridge between what they're paid to do and what they're made to do.
Ooh, I like that. And that is a big part of the assessment. I mean, I think that's people's problem too, when they decide to make this pivot, this grand transition. I'm going to be this new thing. I'm going to open up this business. They're doing things that don't speak to them as that innate, I was born to do this thing. They're chasing latest trends. Somebody now heard real estate was the thing, so now I'm gonna start flipping houses, or Forex or Bitcoin or whatever the latest hottest thing is. That's what you're chasing, and you really do become this jack of all trades and master of none, and you don't even care about any of the things you're actually doing, and that's why you're able. I have a couple of friends like that every 6 months, it's a new multi-level marketing scheme, a new MLM, and no, but this one is going to be the one. This is really going to be. I'm like, but it's not, because you don't care about it, and you didn't care about the last one because you didn't care about it long enough to stick with it to see if it was going to work. You won't care about this one long enough to stick with it to see if it's going to work. So I think, that's probably the most important part of assessing your readiness for something is this something I am actually passionate about? Do I care enough about this thing, to your point, to do it if I'm not making a whole lot of money right now? How long am I going to hang in there while I ain't making no money right now? Because this is something that speaks to me, something that is innate, something that I was born to do. So I think that's a really, really good place to start with that basic question that I don't think a lot of people actually ask themselves or answer honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, social media is designed to give us the end result. That's the part that gives us that dopamine hit where you go, ooh, look at that boat. Ooh, look at that purse. Ooh, look at this car, the watch, the suits, and all of those things. It only talks about the fruit, but it doesn't deal with the root. You don't see what that exact person was actually looking like before and after they did that photo shoot.
Listen,
right? Before she put the eyelashes on, before the wig came, right? You don't know what that looked like. And so we don't really deal with that aspect of it. And so this is where we have to start doing that real deep work. I truly believe, though, that God has given everybody a gift. Steve Harvey gave the best definition I've ever seen. We used to work together at the Disney Dreamers Academy for 10 years. He said this. He said, you know your gift because it is the thing that you get the best results in with the least amount of effort. Like, it's easy for me. Math probably came very easily for you. That's not my testimony, right? Right. And if you gave me a spreadsheet and asked me to do your taxes, Stephanie, we're both going to jail.
Right.
So that thing that wasn't me. But when I could storytell, leading, helping people, that was always innate in me. If I had to write one paragraph, I'd write a full page. Those things are always in me. But what I've discovered is that there's really two types of people in this world. There's people who have discovered their gift and those who have not.
That's right.
If you have not discovered your gift, you will be forced to work with other people who have seen the value of your gift. Other people will see your gift. They'll see the value of it. And then they'll pay you about 10% of what that gift is bringing to them. That's the way that the world works. But when you understand what your gift is, you start asking yourself a different set of questions. And you say, Tom Ferry is a real estate coach and a kind of a mentor to me. And he says he uses the HABU principle, HABU. What is the highest and best use of this gift? If you know that you're really good with people, if you know that you're really good at organizing, if you know that you're really good at poking holes and creating, finding the challenges in things, if you're really good at working with people and galvanizing groups of people, what's the highest and best use that I can attribute to this gift or this skill that I have? And then that's how you turn that into something that can create revenue for you.
Yep. That's a really good sort of strategy. Highest HABU, HABU, highest and best use.
For me, HABU means hook a brother up, but that's okay.
I'm not mad at that either, honestly.
When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196. Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.
Let's talk about the different ways we can assess ourselves. So, we're looking at our passion, we're looking at our skills. What are some other things that we can do to kind of figure out where we are in the process?
Yeah, well, I want this to really reach everybody. So by the way, Steph, I think we agree that entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
It's not.
Yes, some people, when you talk about the pivot, some people really do need to be in a structured environment.
Mm-hmm.
If you struggle with motivating yourself, this isn't for you. Right? If you would rather just be in bed, early in bed, or stay late in bed, that's not for you. If you struggle with getting things done, this just isn't for you, and that's okay.
And
There's a lot of people who do really well in structured environments that will pay you a paycheck every couple of weeks.
That's right.
Good for you. That's fine. But here's what I believe everybody needs to understand. I believe that the good Lord gives us two bank accounts from which we can make withdrawals. One of them is our hurt. The things that have hurt you in your life, those things that have been some of the darker days in your life, the challenges that you experienced, that's a bank account that you've been given. I'll give you an example. I remember in college, I went to University of Texas at Austin, 53,000 students. And at the time, there were 1% Black students.
Wow.
And so there were kids all over the place, and I could walk for what felt like minutes and minutes all around all these people and not see any other Black people. Well, that was a problem. So there was a lot of ostracism, and I felt a lot of internal challenge with that. Well, when I left Dell to go speak, I decided I wanted to talk with students. I was really young. I was only 23 years old, but I wanted to go back and solve my yesterday. I wanted to make my yesterday better. And it worked out pretty well for me. I left, and within 6 years, I was voted National Speaker of the Year because people liked the fact that I could relate to them. I had no idea that I was being set up for such a grand finale. Mm-hmm. I had no idea that I'd be writing books about the very same situations that had me in therapy and had me feeling like I was less than and not enough. Because when you're in it, here's the thing, you will become what is called the empathetic expert. The empathetic expert is the person who is stuck in the situation, but now knows the way out. Right. Empathy means, Steph, I get it. Right. Expert means I know how to solve it. So one of them is our hurt. The other one is our heart. The things that you love, like technology, the things that you love, like cartoons, the things that you love, like helping people.
Like Star Wars.
Star Wars. There you go, right? And I'm sure that now you've been able to monetize all of these loves that you have. So in your life, these two bank accounts, you will be passionate about something. You will either say, I want to make sure nobody ever experiences this ever again. Mm-hmm. Or you will say, I want to make sure everybody can fall in love with this the same way that I have. Your heart and your hurts, both of those are bank accounts that you've been given.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That is awesome. So now how do we know when it might be time to get a coach? Because I know you're a coach. This is what you do, basically. You help people identify strengths and challenges and connect the dots between, you said you said something earlier, between, you connect the dots between their passion and something or something.
Oh, what you're paid to do, what you're made to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you obviously charge a fee for that, and as do many others. So when do we know that it's time to make that investment in ourselves and not just continue to be on this never-ending journey of self-discovery, trying things and throwing a bunch of stuff against a wall to see what sticks? When do we know that, hey, maybe I need a professional to come in here and help me really make this connection for myself?
I remember when my son was born, my sister, who has 2 kids, sat us down and said, look, I'm going to tell you, I don't have any advice about how to raise children. I don't have any advice about how to do anything, because we're all learning on the job. But I will tell you this. This is what I know for sure. She said, here's how you keep yourselves sane. She said, hire the best help that you can afford. And that was the best parenting advice that I ever heard. And that's the same that is true for business.
Right.
Einstein said a problem can't be solved with the same mentality that created it.
Right.
So you need to put that in your budget. If it means you sacrifice a few lunches, if it means you sacrifice selling your car to get a level lower so that you can have that money allocated, trust me, it won't be long before you get to level up beyond that, right? That's what I'm talking about, that sacrifice that's necessary, right? How much are you really willing to risk in order to bet on yourself?
That's right.
That's what it's ultimately about. It's about betting on yourself. It's about being able to push all the chips to the center of the table. So how do you know what kind of coach? If you want it, know that for everything you want, there's a relationship that can get you there faster. I had an issue, and I hope you're okay with saying this. My son is getting a little older now, and so I was concerned about internet safety and about some of the things he could possibly be looking at, or ways in which we could protect the household from any type of threat. First person I called was Tech Life Steph. I said, look, I don't know. And she said, I do. And I'll give you several examples. And ever since then, I've been at peace because of that relationship. So if you try to do it on your own, you're uncovered. You don't want to do it that way.
Right.
Michael Jordan, some people say greatest basketball player of all time, had a coach for every single aspect of it. Tiger Woods, he had a putting coach, a driving coach. All of the executives, they have coaches that they reach out to. We especially if you're talking about people of color, we tend to place a premium on toughing it out and resilience. And I figured it out.
And I don't want to ask nobody for help. I don't need no help. Listen, been there.
Well, look, you can either take it the long, expensive way, or you can take it the short way. And that short way means you're going to have to bet on yourself. And yes, it will mean that you'll have to alter your budget a bit. But I've had people come to me who have said, look, I'm going to sell my car and I'm going to get this beat up old car so that I can afford working with you. And we ended up doing so much money that it ended up changing their entire life. I'll give you one example of a person. I had a single mom work with me, and this is a very emotional story, so I'm gonna have to focus when I tell it. She came to me and she said, hey, this is where I am. And I said, okay, well, I need you to make this choice with your business. I need you to do this. I need you to go all in. And she just had a breakdown, just waterworks. She said, look, I've been poor. I've been at the bottom, and I'm not going to let my child be suffering like I did when I was a little girl. And I sat there and I looked at her. I said, I understand. I don't want that for you either. Trust me. I will not tell you anything that will not, and I can't already see how it's going to succeed.
Right.
And she cried and cried and cried and wiped her tears. And finally she said, okay. Within 6 months, she sold 10,000 copies of the book that I encouraged her to write.
Wow.
With the instruction of how to write it the way that I told her to. 10,000 copies. And she's gone on to create a 6-figure career. Listen, I know what it's like. And a lot of us want to avoid some of the struggle. Like, look, I've already been poor. I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to have to struggle. Well, when you have a coach, you get to learn from OPM. That's other people's magic.
Right?
You get to tap into other people's marketing. You get to tap in to other people's memories as well. So you get to tap into those kinds of things instead of having to go out and make those mistakes on your own.
That's right. That's right. So now we know, like I said, we talk about social media, and not only does social media make you think everybody is popping, everybody and their mama is some kind of coach on social media as well. Exactly. Everybody a coach. They done got their little piece of paper certificate from some little 12-week program, and everybody and their mama is now some type of coach. What are 3 things you should look for when you're looking to hire a coach to help you make a transition in your life?
Okay. So how honest can I be right now?
Yeah, listen, this is on the internet, and if you know Roland Martin, like Roland Martin, he keeps it all the way real. So
okay,
please,
we're gonna keep it Roland Martin real. All right, I'm gonna do.
We also don't want people to fall into that trap, because there are so many people out there peddling solutions that don't work and peddling information that they haven't tested themselves and peddling snake oil for lack of a better term. So we don't want that here. We want the people watching this show right now to get the best, most accurate, most relevant, most honest information we can give them. I know you can provide that. So we want to make sure that people are avoiding, even if it might cost you a little more money, like these are the things you should be looking for, because a lot of people, I think, especially when you get very excited about pivoting and very excited about the transition, you want to do all the things. You want to buy all the books and all the tapes and listen to all the podcasts. And, oh, now I need to get a coach. I need to get my LLC. I need to get a coach. You got this whole laundry list of things you want to do because you want to feel busy and you want to feel excited about the pursuit of this new passion. But you also don't want to get into a situation where you have spent a bunch of money on something that is not going to get you where you need to be. So I want people to understand what to look for in these coaches out here.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're bringing this up, because a lot of people come to me, and a lot of people watching me now, this might be your first time ever hearing of me. I've been around for over 20 years, but it might be your first time hearing. That doesn't mean that I haven't been rocking out in what I'm doing. It's just, you just haven't heard of me. And so what happens is I get a lot of people who go to some of the brand name folks, the bigger names, and they don't always get the results that they want. So now we have what is called in our industry a lot of coach hurt, and you have bad experiences, and people are very jaded. So I get it. So you said we're going to keep it Roland Martin real.
Yes.
These will all, like Sesame Street, all be dedicated to the letter R. Okay. So they're going to be sponsored by letter R. Here we go. The first thing is they need to have receipts, right? And when I say receipts, I want to know a coach's journey. I respect all these Insta famous people. Stephanie, I heard about a guy the other day who on TikTok is making $9 million per month.
Listen.
Okay, you hear me?
Maybe he's like that.
So I respect that. But the dude is like 25. And I'm not saying he doesn't. Obviously, he's mastered his craft. But I need to know what your journey is. I want to know that you've actually done the things that you're telling me to do.
That's right.
I want to see your receipts, because what I discovered, Stephanie, is that there's a lot of people who are trying to give you directions to a place they've never been. Right?
Say that again. No, seriously, say literally that exact thing. Say that again for the people, because I don't think they heard you.
There's people trying to give you directions to a place they've never been. I haven't, I've been to Philly, but I haven't kicked it like that. I can't tell Steph where to go. I can't. Oh, okay. You need to go. All I know is High Street. That's it. And a few things that the Roots are rapped about. That's it. But I've never been there. But if you come to Houston, I got you. I'll tell you exactly where to go, because I've been here for over 20 years. So there's a lot of people who are Insta famous and who project an image that isn't all the way authentic. So show me your receipts. Show me where you've been through and what you've done. Number 2, I want results, not just with themselves, because there's a lot of people who can be great. I'll give you an example. I'm going to go back to the sports world because I like to do this. Magic Johnson, one of the greatest players of all time. As a coach, he was awful. People don't even know he coached the Los Angeles Lakers also, because it was like that long. They thought, oh, you're so great. You're a people person. He was horrible as a coach. Magic Johnson was a talk show host.
The worst. I remember that.
Right, remember that?
The worst.
So Magic was bad at he was really great at one thing. He was bad at a lot of things. Michael Jordan, greatest arguably basketball player, one of the worst performing owners, right? Yeah, well, his baseball career wasn't so great. As an owner in the exact same sport, he wasn't so great. So what you find is that there's a lot of people who are Michael Jordans, not Phil Jacksons. Phil Jackson was able to get more rings as a coach than he was as a player. And so that's a rare skill set. So when I said, first, you need receipts that you've done it. I want to see that. I also need results in how you have worked with people like me. So one of the questions I always ask is, tell me about other people like me, you're working with currently. Now, that's really important because at my level at this point, I say this very humbly, sometimes working with me is a good look for other people because then they can say, well, I got to work with Jonathan because in some circles, I'm well known and respected.
I mean, you're a big deal, Jonathan. Go ahead and own that.
Yeah, but,
Go ahead and own that.
My brother said a star ain't nothing but something in the sky.
Listen,
So I
you
believe
wouldn't be sitting here on the pivot with Stephanie Humphrey.
I'm cloud chasing with you. I'm here to say, that's why I was like, yes. So I want to see the results you've gotten with people like me. However you define yourself, whether you call yourself a single mom, whether you call yourself a new entrepreneur, whether you are a dualpreneur, whether you have a corporate job and you're working a bit or whatever, right? Show me the results you've gotten. And then number 3, this is also something a lot of people don't stop to ask. Resonance. Does that person resonate with you? If you just get a gut feeling to say, I'd like to hang out with this person. I paid a lot of money to people I did not like, and the relationships did not last long. I just thought, well, they're so successful, I'll just put up with it.
Going with the name.
Wrong thing. So not everybody is a great energetic fit with you. Some people, if you're more relational and they're just like business. I don't have time. I don't want to know about you. I don't want to know about your personal life. That's okay if that's how they are. But if that's not the experience that you want, you need to know that about yourself.
That's right.
Now, it's not your coach's job to know when your kids' birthdays are. However, if they're just not a good fit, like
the vibe,
if the vibe isn't right, then don't do it. Find somebody who is, because there is somebody who is a perfect fit for you. Resonance is extremely important. I just had a conversation just before we did the interview where somebody said that she showed me her Kolbe score, Kolbe. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that later. But your Kolbe will tell you about how you initiate projects. Well, she's very heavy on what is called the fact finder side. She's going to ask a lot of questions. She wants to know every single thing. She's going to ask 200 questions before she takes the first step. I am heavy on the quick start side. So I'm going to just do it and then ask questions later. Well, unless we figure out how to meet in the middle, we're going to frustrate each other because she's going to, by my perspective, going to be asking too many blank questions. From her perspective, she thinks I'm going too fast, right? And neither approach is wrong, but they're just different.
They're just different, yeah.
And so it's important. The reason why I bring up Kolbe is because you can go to Kolbe, KOLBE.com, and take your own Kolbe assessment. You pay a small investment for like $30, $35, something like that. But now you find out who you are and what resonates with you so that when you have people who are just like you, then it helps them to better speak in your language and you get it faster versus feeling like you're paying but not getting something from it.
Right. And that's the worst feeling, when you just feel like you wasted money. It just all went down the drain. You could have basically lit it on fire and gotten the same type of result out of it. So I love those 3 things because I think they are very important and it lets you sort of easily and quickly hone in on the person that's going to be best for you as you move along this journey. So thank you for that.
Don't wait till November 8th. We can vote today, y'all. Early vote started this week.
We're on on Savannah State University's campus. We will be dorm storming today, giving out treats for everyone. We hope to see everyone at the polls when it comes to November.
If you believe we got power, let them know. Make some noise. Put a fist up. I need to see a fist in the air because we got power. Come on, you put it up. Come get your shirt. We're out here in the streets of Savannah, Georgia. James, do not forget to go vote. I got you. If we vote the right people in, we can make a change. We can get these resources in our community.
I am a woman, and it is important that we have the say-so of what we want to do with our bodies.
We're concentrating on entrepreneurism, providing young people with resources and training that they need in order to change their trajectories. We want Black down. Democracy is on the ballot. Voting rights is on the ballot. Voting suppression is on the ballot. I am most passionate about those three combined because they all impact each other.
Savannah is my home. I care about my community, and I care about representation in my community.
Our voices are still going to be heard no matter what kind of obstacles try to come up against us to stop us from voting. We're still going to be standing our ground.
I see the effort that's being made to keep our communities from voting. So that makes me realize it's even more important, because if it wasn't important, they wouldn't be fighting to make sure we couldn't vote.
This doesn't stop this year. This is a forever movement.
We're going to exert our power as a people, walk in our rightful place. We're going to change our communities, fight for our communities, and build our communities.
Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punch! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home. You dig?
Anything else you want to leave us with as we wrap up?
Well, just really quickly, know that their success doesn't always translate to your success. The person must be a great explainer, right? A great teacher. The reason why I rock so hard with Tech Life Steph is because she's a great teacher. Like, seriously, every time I pick this thing up, I learn something new. And I don't know if I guess we're kind of public now, but I do have to tell you thank you, because I've learned a lot, from the very basics to when to upgrade my phone, to different small choices that I would make in my personal and professional life based on your help. And because you're a great explainer, because you have that very analytical mind that can be very patient with people like me who may not always get it very quickly, my life has changed. So I thank you for that.
I appreciate that. I tell people my secret superpower is taking complex tech topics and breaking it down to be simple to understand. That's it. That's it.
And you do it so well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you again for being on The Pivot with Stephanie Humphrey. You guys can follow Jonathan all around the web, but check him out on IG specifically. I love the content you put on Instagram specifically, because it's very it's very motivational and aspirational without feeling untouchable. It's very relatable in its, you can do this. And it's not, because full disclosure, I'm not a motivational speaker kind of person. I'm very internally motivated. I'm very self-motivated. I don't need nobody telling me I can do it, because I know I can do it. So I like that stuff. I don't want to say doesn't work on me, because I can sit and listen to somebody that is a great speaker and be inspired, but I don't invest a lot of time in that kind of thing and in consuming that kind of content. But you do it in a way that's not you trying to be someone else's cheerleader necessarily. And I appreciate that. So that's why I actually watch your content as I scroll through Instagram, because it is actually informational at the same time as people are getting that motivation. They're getting that, come on, you can do it, you got this type of stuff, which we all need. But they're also getting some information. I'm all about relevant and actionable. That's everything I do needs to be relevant and actionable. Everything I consume needs to be relevant and actionable. And taking time out just to hear somebody say, you can do it, is not a good use of my time. It's just not. So I appreciate the fact that, you're giving me that, along with some stuff I can actually go and do to get this thing, popping. So definitely follow Jonathan at jsprinkles.com. He has a lot of great content out there, and it's just a dope brother. And I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. This is an honor and a privilege. Finally, I get to say I was on the show. Finally, I'm telling you, Mama, I made it.
Well, that is it, y'all. I hope you loved this episode. Thank you so much for watching. This was The Pivot with Stephanie Humphrey. Stay tuned. We got another one for you coming up next week.